Hello everyone, it's Stephanie, your CSA coach, and it is week 19A of our 2025 CSA season. After this week, we have 5 more weeks. We have 24 weeks total in our CSA shares for the 2025 season. Jumping right into what we have this week, we have cabbage. Cabbage is stored in the fridge. Just throw it in your crisper drawer. You don't need to do much with it in preparation. Once you're ready to use it, you can shred it and use it in coleslaw. There's been a couple recipes posted. So I know I did a roasted cabbage recipe at one point this season. I also did a cabbage steak recipe on the grill. That just got posted last week or the week before. You can just simply shred it and add it to salads. You can make sauerkraut out of it if you like to ferment or pickle things. What else? You can just do a boiled cabbage as a side. So boiled, roasted, grilled, raw, lots of options. But stored just like this, if you're only using a portion of it, once you chop it in half or in a quarter, then that remaining unused portion goes in a Ziploc bag and then in the fridge. We still have lots of peppers. So peppers get stored in the crisper drawer of the fridge. Great eaten raw, chopped up in a salad, amazing in our sheet pan fajitas or fajita bowls, in the sausage scallopini. You can do a stuffed pepper. You can just do a simple saute, or you could do a sheet pan roasted vegetable and add the peppers to that. We did post information on freezing peppers because we've been getting a lot of peppers. You can use that information we posted. I think it was not this past Friday, but the Friday before that. Basically, you're just washing them, taking the seeds out, either chopping them up into rings or into strips, throwing them on a freezer pan, freezing them, and then once they're frozen, you can throw them into a bag to save space. So that's an option to preserve our peppers as well. Probably my favorite way to eat peppers is raw. They're delicious, just as like a light snack as a side. But they're amazing in a lot of the recipes that we have also. We did get tomatoes this week. So tomatoes are stored at room temperature on the counter. This was kind of a nice treat. Tomatoes can be sliced up and used on sandwiches. They can be turned into like a pico de gallo. They can just be simply sliced up and eaten as a snack. I like to sprinkle basil salt. That recipe has been posted in our Facebook group and also on the website, I believe. Basically infusing our sea salt with basil, which is amazing, and a way to preserve your basil. So you can roast these. You can also turn them into soup and into sauce. So those are our tomatoes stored on the counter. We received rainbow carrots stored in the crisper drawer of our fridge. Once you're ready to use them, you can either really clean the outsides and not worry about peeling them, or lightly peel them. They can be roasted, they can be eaten raw, they can be grilled, they can be chopped up and used on a veggie platter or in salads, but delicious, just as a simple snack or part of a larger meal. We have turnips. Very first thing that you're gonna do with your turnips is chop off those bottoms. The bulbs get stored in a Ziploc bag in the fridge. The tops can also be eaten, so don't throw those away. Store them in a Debbie Meyer green bag or a Ziploc bag. They can be eaten raw. They can be thrown into smoothies. You can make green cubes. You can just do a simple sauteed turnip green as a side. So use the recipe for simple sauteed greens was posted in this week's email. It's also on our website. There's also a PDF for simple sauteed greens. So just follow that for any of our greens, which also include kale. I'm gonna do that next. If you aren't wanting to use these, don't throw them away. Throw them into your freezer bag. Save them with all of your veggie scraps to make veggie broth. Or do a quick saute or a quick blanch, and then blend them up and make green cubes. And green cubes can be added to smoothies. They're a great addition to smoothies. Your bottoms, they can be eaten raw, so really yummy if you thinly slice them and throw them onto a salad. You can also thinly slice them and use that sea salt again, or the basil sea salt, to just lightly flavor them. Great pickled, great roasted. You can also grill them. So lots of options there. They're gonna be really good in stir fries as well. Couple more items. We have kale this week. So kale is stored in a Debbie Meyer green bag in the fridge. Once you're ready to use it, wash the leaves down. You can use it raw, chop it up. We have a kale Caesar salad. I think there's a chopped kale salad. There are kale chips, ranch kale chips. Or you can again use our simple sauteed greens recipe and just do a quick saute. It's really good paired with eggs or paired with a protein of your choice for dinner. So options there as well. We got to pick 4 hot peppers. Hot peppers are stored in the fridge in our crisper drawer. If you want to save your hot peppers or preserve them, chop them up or at least remove the stem. Throw them in a Ziploc bag and freeze them. I usually label the bag, whatever hot pepper I have or how many of the hot peppers I have in there. And then you can use those just like you would a regular unfrozen hot pepper. Hot peppers are really good to add heat to any dish. So if you want a lot of heat, all you simply do is take off the stem and then chop those up and throw them into whatever dish you're making. If you want less heat, we had a variety of different, I think there were 6 different types of hot peppers you could choose from, ranging in scale of heat levels. But if you want less heat, you can take out the membranes and the seeds. If you remove the membranes and seeds of any hot pepper, it will be a milder version of that pepper. Let's see what else. This was added. So I did I think it was a spicy garlic aioli, maybe last week or the week before. I think it went with the cabbage. That was phenomenal and could be simply made as a side for so many different dishes, not just the cabbage. So try that if you haven't tried that yet. Hot pepper honey. And then also we have tomatoes and some things that would be great for like a pico de gallo. So you could add it to that as well. Okay, we have romaine. Romaine is stored in a Debbie Meyer green bag or a Ziploc bag in the fridge. Once you're ready to use it, then you want to clean the leaves, chop them up, or use the leaves whole as like a vessel to hold something. So you could do like an egg salad, a chicken salad. You could make it your vessel that holds your tacos or your fajitas. So use your imagination. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to showcase the romaine in this week's recipe. It's just such a great lettuce to utilize in a lot of ways. So stay tuned for that, possibly on Thursday. But great as a base for a salad, as a great a base for a bowl, or as a vessel to hold a variety of different things. We got delicata squash. Delicata squash is stored in a cool, dry place. Once you are ready to use it, wash it. You do not need to peel it. You can either chop off the stem and cut it in half, remove the seeds, and roast it like 2 halves, or you can cut it into rings. I like doing the rings because then it cooks quicker. You can roast it or you can grill it. And there are a couple different recipes for delicata squash on the website. I know there's an amazing fall salad, like an autumn salad, that's really, really good with the delicata. And we have the lettuce from this week that would go really well. Last but not least, we have cilantro. Cilantro is stored just like this in a jar of water or a glass of water in the fridge. I did a smaller glass just so it doesn't tip over. Cilantro is amazing in cilantro lime rice. So there is a recipe for that. I think that came through probably last year or the year before. It's really good in like your pico de gallos or your Mexican dishes. You can make sauces with cilantro. You can also season marinades and dressings with cilantro, but stored just like that in the fridge. Once you're ready to use it, pull off a couple sprigs and use the leaves. You can also dry it, and you can also freeze it. So I like to freeze it between 2 paper towels, flat, in a Ziploc bag, and then just pull out a couple sprigs of cilantro and use it in a variety of different dishes. That is it for this week. Make sure you're taking a look at what you still have left from last week, using up those items. And then I'd probably focus on, since we've been getting cilantro for the past at least 2 weeks, try to figure out what you're going to use the cilantro for, and then your greens, so your kale and your turnip greens. Focus on those first. And if you know you're not going to use certain things, make sure you throw them into your freezer bag to make broth later on. And also think about, if you are not going to use a lot of the greens, making some green cubes. There's a PDF on the hub for green cubes, and they're just amazing to throw into smoothies. So we will start seeing a lot more greens in our shares since we're hitting the cooler weather in the fall. I will see you guys all again next week. Have an amazing week.